Hi guys, back on the table again. Going to do a teardown of that little radio controlled car. I've finished building the rubber band powered aeroplane. Can't test fly it because it's just too windy outside and it's cold and damp, so it'll get ruined if it lands on the grass. So we're going to take this one apart. The reason we're going to take it apart is although it works, it's very short range. I have to hold the transmitter within about a foot or so of it for it actually to work. So we'll have a quick look inside, see if there's anything obvious on the receiver, any loose wires or anything. So I'll put the camera on a tripod and we'll have a look. Just a quick reminder, with the transmitter right next to the aerial, as soon as I move away a bit, nothing. I've tried various other transmitters that also have the ABC settings on them, but none of these talk to it anyway. So, we'll have a look inside. I notice this one's ZapToys. I even have another ZapToys transmitter, but this one is only a single channel or whatever. It doesn't have the ABCs on it, and that one doesn't talk to it either. So if nothing else, we can have a look inside, have a look at the steering, have a look at the motor. Okay, there's our receiver. It is a little bit loose in there. Ought to have a little screw in there, I would have thought. It sits on that peg. It's all a bit tight in there. Well, that's interesting. That says 40 megahertz on the back. That's better. That says 40 megahertz. But that was the transmitter with the broken arm. And that one's 27. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe it's not a matching transmitter, they just happen to be in the same box. I don't know though, because this one says Top Gear logo on it, BBC 2005, and the car says Top Gear all over it. I'll go and get some 40 megahertz transmitters. Well, that was a bit of a dead end. I've just tried about 8 different 40 megahertz transmitters, but none of them have got the ABC function on them, so getting nowhere with that. So, what do we do now? Well, we'll have a look inside anyway. We could try playing around with the trim pot and see if we could get it to respond to anything. A big lump of wax they got on the end of it to seal it. I don't like doing this because it really doesn't help, or at least I've never found it helped. Put that back where it was. Let's have a look at the gearbox anyway, while we've got it in pieces. Right, got a clip under the back there from the looks of it. Which way does it come apart? There we go. Right. So, motor, small gear, big gear, no. Small gear, big gear, small gear, big gear. So we've got a bit of reduction to get a bit of power to the back axle. And then that there was the on, off and the three-way switch, ABC. Which is why you've got so many wires going up to the circuit board. Okay, nothing very exciting there, so we'll put that back together. Come on, that's better. Turning it back so it grips the thread in the right place. Okay, so that's back in place. Let's have a look at the steering. Up we come. Oh, very simple. Yes. So we've just got a long shaft, pinion gear, and a rack. So it's a rack and pinion. Lift the motor out. A bit tight, no, that's okay, that's come out. So we can see the spring underneath. Got the light right, yeah. Spring underneath to centre the steering. Just hold that out of the way. There'll be a little peg underneath this, I should think, that goes in between those springs, or between the legs of those springs. There we go. So that's our spring that does the return to middle, or return to centre. So when you turn right, that peg there is pushed to the right, and that pushes that leg of the spring to the right, and when you release the control, that spring is what brings the steering back to the middle. And the same on the left, the peg pushes it to the left, and when you release the steering, that spring pushes it back to the middle. On this particular one, we've got a nice turny bit there that gives you a little bit of adjustment to where the centre is when it returns to centre. So some people don't quite understand what that's for. It's only for trying to get the car to go in a straight line. So sometimes you have to just turn it a little bit one way or the other to help that spring align the centre position. So it doesn't help you turn left or right, it only helps you return to the middle. So that's going to go back in there. So it's in the middle of that spring. Can we see that moving? Hope we can. Look, we're losing the light a bit now. It's getting a bit dark out here. It's getting late in the afternoon. Come on, back on there. Okay, that's back in position. Get the motor back on there. Okay, so as the motor spins one way, we go left, spins the other way, we go right. Cover back on. Change back to crosshead screwdriver. We've got 4 transistors there, which will be an H bridge, probably for the steering, and 4 transistors there, that will be an H bridge for the drive motor. I'm guessing that chip or circuit on board, the black blob there, is probably the receiver chip or decoder, which is why it's got 40 megahertz written on the back. So maybe it is a 40 megahertz receiver, and it was just coincidence that in the same box we had a 27 megahertz transmitter. There's a good chance it was a matching pair of toy cars that somebody had got, and when they dumped them, they dumped the wrong transmitter with the wrong car. But I think that's as far as I can go. I'll put it back together, and then at some time in the future I might find a different transmitter, or we might cannibalise this for parts.
Hey, thanks for watching. There's plenty of videos on my main channel with more added daily, so don't forget to subscribe and enable the notifications to keep you up to date with my new releases. My second channel, Grandad's Other Channel, is where I put the longer videos with more detail. Then there's my Facebook page, and you can follow me on Twitter. You can help keep my channel running by donating $1 on Patreon to buy me coffee. And if you fancy some Grandad merchandise, I have 2 shops, one on Redbubble and the other on Cotton Cart. Finally, you can always find more information in the video description. Thanks again for watching.